The objective of the next few videos is to try and understand basics of Arnold. Uh, by no means are these videos going to help us master Arnold in any way, but the idea is to kind of get started with the fundamentals of Arnold so we can then learn more about it from the various resources that are available. And in that light, I want to share with you guys um, this website, www.arnoldrenderer.com, created by a company called as um, a solid angle. Uh, it's a really beautifully designed website. It has lots of different kinds of tutorials. It has a gallery of materials that have been made, and it also has community along with beautiful sort of support forum structure that we can use to ask questions, get them answered, all that stuff. Um, for now, we are going to head back into Maya 2018. Have a very basic setup of um, shapes. I have a camera, which I'm calling main camera or main cam that I've set. I've also locked that camera, and this is going to be my renderable camera for now. So for now, let's just set that view to main camera, whereas I'm going to set this view to perspective, so I'm able to navigate around the scene as well. Um, to be able to render in Arnold, instead of using our standard um, render current frame window, I'm actually going to head over here to Arnold, click on Open Arnold Render View. That's going to bring up this window. To actually start the render, I'm simply going to click on this button right here. It's called Refresh Render. There's a play button in here as well, and I'm going to get into it later on. Right now, let's just click on Refresh and see what we get. And you see that it says rendering. Well, 7 seconds, and we realize that nothing has rendered, and that's because we do not have a light in the scene. So unlike Maya software, Arnold is going to render nothing if you don't have a light in there. So it's important that you work the lights and the materials together. It's a little difficult to talk about lights and materials at the same time in the same video. So I'm going to introduce you to one basic light, which once again by no means is the best light to use, but it's just going to get us going for now. And that light you should be able to find in the Arnold window. Go to lights and then click on Sky Dome Light. And you see what you get is kind of this little sphere around. This big sphere is going to be casting a light from all around onto this assembly of shapes that we have. You can click on the skydome light and you can go into the attribute editor and you can edit some parameters. Right now I'm not going to go into any of these parameters. I'll go into it as and when, but let's see what we get when we render this out. I'm going to make sure that our drop down menu here is set to main camera, and you see that I'm getting some sort of a render. Obviously it's not the best right now, but we're at least seeing the objects, which is great. It took us about 13 seconds to render that out. There's a lot of noise, as we can see, and we are going to work towards fixing all of this one by one. Our first uh, attempt. Now what I'm really going to do is forget about the light for a second and talk about materials. Now currently all these objects that I have in the scene have a basic gray Lambert on them. That is not the best solution in any way here. So Arnold has a separate library of materials that we are going to learn to use, and in fact it's good news because it makes our life so much easier. Uh, the materials are beautiful. There are fewer materials to deal with, and so that way we don't have to learn specifics about different materials. All right, so I'm going to start out by selecting a geometry. I'm going to right click on it. In fact, let's do this one at a time. So let's select a sphere, right click on it and say assign new material. Now in here, I'm gonna go down to Arnold, and the material that we are going to choose from all of this is called AI Standard Surface. If you remember, before Arnold, we used to work with materials like Lamberts and Blins and Fongs. Um, Now, with Arnold, pretty much the only material that's going to be able to sort of replicate a Lambert surface, a matte surface, a shiny Blinn surface, or a Phong surface is going to be your AI standard surface. So really all that we need to learn about currently is an AI standard surface. So here's your AI standard surface. Typically, it's a good idea to go ahead and rename this material right away. So I'm going to call it matte underscore sphere. As a material that has been applied to the sphere. Um, let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna click on refresh, and there you go. It has a little bit of a shine, a little bit of reflection, and the surface in general reacts to light far better than a Lambert's do. So make sure that you're using Arnold materials when you're working in Arnold with Arnold lights. It's a very exclusive club, uh, Arnold thing right here. It's about 16 seconds, and this is what we are getting. In the next video, we are going to get into the details of AI standard surface material, and we'll learn a few new things about the parameters that you can tweak in there.